Hello, right now we'll be recording our CSCI 380 web programming interface. Okay, so far in our previous videos, and we try to work on the first part, the front end, and then we try to work on the back end. So for the back end first part, we try to work on the Happy.js. Okay, how can we launch it? Okay, on the server, and then for the kind of the last part, how can we finish about the database? How can we store the data? Okay. And in our project or in the lab, all the exercise I'm showing is using the MongoDB. So it's a NoSQL database. So we store the data in a flexible like JSON like documents. Okay. So mainly the key features it looks like is schemaless, and then it provides really high availability and scalability. Okay, and also have a rich querying capability. Nowadays, lots of websites, okay, they are shifting from the regular RDMS that might be, let's say, MySQL to NoSQL. Okay, so MongoDB is one of the example we can use, and use case maybe some like real-time analytics or the content management or the IoT. So in pretty it covers in several like aspect. Okay, and mainly right here, when we talk about the MongoDB architecture, the components, including first we talk about database itself, and then we will collect the data collection, and under all the collection, we have different documents. Okay, if we look at it, so right here, maybe we will create the collection, and under the collection, we'll create documents. So right here, so if you didn't define the ID, so when you insert a record, add a record, then it will like come with the unique ID, and then you can define all those the names or all the attributes that maybe used it. Okay, and Mongoose is one of the ODM. We call the object data modeling, so we can use it for the MongoDB database. You see from the sample code, so sometimes I use a MongoDB or Mongoose, either one's better. So you can choose the one you like. Later there's some source code I show you will be using Mongoose. Okay. Mainly we can do like using the Mongoose do the schema validation, can handle the provide the support on the middleware. Okay. Also we can easy to use the API for the code operations. Okay. So you can directly use the instruction right here, we call the npm install mongoose. And if you know, like we always passing parameter is that the dash as save, so we can save to required development dependency package. So it can help the next time if you need to install this project, so you can just run npm install. Okay, instead of like we upload all those no modules. So that's what we don't want to. Here, the structure showing you. So after we install it, in the either you can like test it separately or integrate with our Happy.js API. So you can like create a Mongoose, import it, and connect to the MongoDB. Okay, so this one will be the my database. Okay, my database is the name you create. Okay, so depends on you. And later I will show you that new user URL face through this one or the fail. So you can just omit delete it. Okay, and then if you connect successfully, so we'll have a log. So okay, MongoDB is connected. So right here, if we have a try and error, so if there's an error, maybe like we'll catch some error, we'll console log the error like this. And when we define the scheme, okay, so we have a schema. So this one also under the Mongoose like schema. So this schema, so we can validate the content, the JSON model that we upload it to the server and save it. Let's say if we have the account and then was some profiles using the name, email, and the age. So you can define the type. So this one is the data type. So they can be like string number for the age. And then do they require it? Yes, yes. And then maybe for email, they will check, is it unique, true? Okay, for age minimum is 0, or like you can set it higher. So it makes sense. And you can save this model. Okay, pass it this model using the code user schema, given name. So we can pass it. After we everything ready, we also have called the CRUD operation. So what is it? Actually, it's the taking the all the first letters of the like, create, read, update, and delete. So there are many functions kind of similar to our Happy.js, like we talked about. So how can we create or read it or something like using put, like update, delete, okay, get, and post. So the operation is pretty similar. The idea in behind, okay. So we can use the mongoose as an example. If we need to create using the data, so we just like passing the we have an error function right here, so we create and then using asynchronous, so we can like get the result after they completely import into the MongoDB. Okay, so we pass the user data, and then right here we passing new user. Okay, if you remember, we set the schema right here user, and then we pass it, try to match all the attributes right here. So it match, then we can use it, and then awaiting the user.save. So right here, so we can like save it to the MongoDB. So if for read operation, and most like straightforward, you can use the fun. Okay, so let's say we give a function called get all users. It's a synchronized function. We are not passing any parameter. If you have some specific ID or like by the name, then of course you can pass the parameter. Okay, and search it. So for this one, because I'm not searching by any criteria, so I just like pass it using fun. Okay, but if I need to find something by the ID, then you can synchronize like function like pass a parameter right here, pass the ID, and just like find by ID. So here's the function. Okay, provide actually is supported by the Mongo DB Mongo, so you can pass the ID, so it will return all the content match. Let's say if we have the code some other filters, okay, we need to find something, let's say by the age, so we can pass it return a rate and then use the find. Okay, and then for here we can use the curly bracket right here and the age, and we can use the different, and right here you see a GTE, that means like greater than or equal to, okay, age. Okay, that means like anything like greater than equal to, then we will match our filter. Okay, of course we are more like greater than, okay, or like less than, smaller than, or this like for more details, I always recommend go to the MongoDB's their documents and look at it. And right here we will see we mainly just introduce. If you only want to like find certain record, okay, just one. So you can, if we pass the filter, so the filter can be like this. Okay, so if we only want to get one, so we can use the function find one. So we can find the first user, so match the filter. Okay, and then we have the read operation. More like if we need to have some like logical operation, let's say or, okay, maybe and. So it depends on you. If you are or, so we can use a pass. Okay, the first curly bracket right here, and then we have the or condition. Or condition is the array. Okay, maybe the age. Okay, so this one will be less than. Okay, and then on the name. So this one is like the look like the regular experience, you know. So it will be // and then $. So we want to see something end with it. Okay, so this one with the $sign. Okay, and that's how we handle the logical operation. So we can add the end or like this, and then if you have some content, like we turn it as a page. Okay, so we can by passing the like limit or like which when find it, let's say skip, and then the page -1 times the limit, and just set the limit. So this one we can do it in this way. It just like kind of pretty similar to if you wrote an array before. Okay, if we need to like change it to like different set, then you can do it. Page like total how many page -1, and then times the power of it, and then every time just limit it. So you can get it like this. Okay, and more after we able to create read, and then we move on to update. Okay, for update, so we have the function we call the find by ID and update. Okay, so right here will be longer for the function. The first parameter like maybe will be the one find by ID, so we need to match the ID. Okay, and then what's the new data we're going to update? Okay, or something more like new true, one validator true. So we like match it. So to validate, okay, if they like match the schema like this, okay. So here's called the update. And if you're multiple, okay, then you can use another way. So this one we are not using ID and just update it by our criteria. So we can use the dot update many. Okay, so update many, and then we try to match the content. Let's say the age, and then it's less than this age. Okay, so less than it, then we will update this type of data. Okay, so it depends on the attributes you want to update. So we can do it in this way, and also we can add something like update the field. So that means the attributes we're talking. So let's say if you want to add a new email, so we pass the ID, update, and then pass the email and say it's a true. Okay, so here's in another format. So okay. Actually there's several more, and I always recommend if you actually because like online and lots of committees like they will share. Okay. So if you have something interested, you can search it. Okay, and check for more. And maybe if you only want to update one, we can use the function find one and update. And just like you can use the filter. So the filter maybe the age, if you remember, update data and say new, and then one the validator true. So it's pretty similar to the one. And this is like how it looks like. And if we want to like add some like conditional update, it's still possible. So let's say right here, if the user, so we try to like find the ID, and then once we get the user, and then we can check, okay, if they're less than 18. So if yes, then maybe I will add a and field, or we can attribute like to add that as a false, and then new is true. Okay, if no, okay, just like return it. Okay, that's true and new is true like this. So we can use the conditional update. Okay, to do it. And last one will be the delete. For delete, so just like we can use like find by ID and delete. Okay, pretty straightforward. And once we integrate, it's pretty easy. So if you see the happy, and then here's a structure, we have a post method, and then a path user handler, we have a synchronized function. So here we will, because it's synchronized, we need to await for create user. And if we are using post method, so the content will like connect in the payload request the payload. Okay, so we will try to once you save it, we will get a user, and after we complete the action, we will return it. So we return as a response, and then with the response code like 201, maybe for like to create a file. So that's the way we can do it. And of course, we can always recommend, so try to use some like try and catch block to catch some error, okay, in case we cannot like execute it. And also we can try to return some appropriate HTTP status code. So sometimes like if we get this as server 200 and then update like 201, if you see a lot like 404 or some internal error like 500, okay. So all these are possible error code. And if we can like apply all these, like try to use the try, okay, and then maybe something it doesn't exist, we couldn't find, so we return the code as a 404. Okay, user not found with the message. Sometimes the standard we define. So like let's say we have a client website. So first we get a code. Okay, we know it's a 404, so it doesn't exist. And then sometimes we can like get the return message. And we can alter the message or just print the message out. So let the user know, okay, what happened. Okay, sometimes it's like for debugging, for internal testing, or sometimes we just like directly like print out the message. So either way will be fine. So will be right here. So or sometimes we cannot retrieve it, have an error. So you see after try and catch error, then we will return a code 500. That means sometimes you see like internal error 500. And of course, like we can validate, like if you remember, we can use some like built-in validation. If you want to match it, there's a pattern like it's a regular expression like dot, that means like anything. So at least you match like a sign, and then you match anything, and then another dot sign. Okay, dot sign, and then anything. That means that we try to match the email. Okay, so we need to get all the email format looks like this. Okay, so There's a can we detect something not exist email? Then of course no. You see sometime right now the application they will validate send a validation code to your email to make sure your email they are valid. So there another way there's furthermore, but you just need to know right here we can have some like validation to validate the schema. And just like last part, just remind you. So try to make sure like for the connection management, make sure have a proper management of your connection, and then try to like build a consistent error handling strategy code, like try error run. Okay, those are return code, and always try to validate the user input. But for this web programming and interface, actually it really cover like several parts, like including front end, back end, and then lots of things. All this will be like come from a bundle. Okay, they work together. So we cannot really cover everything, but at least like I wish I can introduce something like something background. Okay, you can like if you're interested, you want to be a web developer, then you can based on this one and then search more. Okay, so you can build more. And I would like to show you one thing. Right here, if you need to install the Ubuntu on your server, the MongoDB on your Ubuntu server, then you can follow. Like first, we need to add the import the public key. So after you like using sudo apt-get install it, and then we can add it import their public GPG key, okay, to your server. And after you complete it, then we can add it to the source list. Okay, so you can just like copy it and just update. We can reload the package database, that means the source list. So after you able to do that, then you can just install latest one. So apt get install MongoDB org. So you can install this one. Okay. And I already connect to my server and Mongo. Since I already installed it, so I'm not showing, but after you complete the connection and you have several way to like check it. Let's say you can check your Mongo's be careful right here. So this like only kind of MongoD. Okay. So give me a second. Let's see. Let me post the sharing. Let me share this one. Okay. And I would like to get the password. Okay. Okay, it comes back. Okay. So when I get the password, let me show you this one. Okay. So here's the status right now. I already running the MongoDB on my server. Okay. So you can test it. Remember, sometimes when we need to start, one is like you can start the server, and then there's a called enable. Enable is that in case something happen, then the MongoDB will restart like after the system reboot. So it's like called enable. So start and enable, or if you need to stop it, okay, system CDL stop it or restart it, okay. And if we the main focus right here will be like on the server side, then we'll talk about how can we connect to the MongoDB. Okay, so MongoDB we can connect Mongoose. Okay, so Mongoose you'll see, okay, we are able to connect to it. Okay, right here I can switch the we call the database, and or like something you can switch your collection. Okay, so right here I have an example I'm using is called the I call it CSCI 380 database. Okay, CSCI 380s, and then have a collection called the user account. So let me switch the database CSCI 380. Okay, so you see right now right here. And you can use the command line db.create collection. Okay, if you collection and giving a name. Okay, so just like any name. So let's say if you call the lab or wherever any name, so you can like create. Okay, so once you create a collection, so will become right here. So I already create the database. Okay, and what I need to do like next. Okay, let me, because I already create. So I would like to show one thing. Exit. Okay, and there are some extra command lines that you can do. You can use the nk dir. So it's a make it directory. So p will be like if you have some like subdirectory, you need to create basically the first one, but it doesn't exist, then you need to pass the parameter p. So let's say if I create a SRV CSCI 380, and then maybe I go like week 10 like this. Okay, whatever. Then you can do it in this way. Because I already create, so I'm not creating. And again, also remember you need to give the correct permission, and then the account. So remember we can use the chown. Okay, so chown, remember that you can give in your account name. Okay, right here. And then also most important, because the Nginx, they are handling using data. So if you're hosting it on the like let's say the server, and remember giving data. Okay, and then recursively. Okay, so any other like nested folder, subfolder, then we'll grant the same permission. And here I will giving the CSCI 380 the permission. Okay, the ownership. I will delete, but I can actually one more time. And then next will be the chmod. And chmod I'm giving the 775 like recursion. Okay, like this. Let me change the directory to here ls. This okay, so you see all the file right here. I already grant the permission. Okay, and you see the directory D. Okay, there are all the files, and I already have the index file. I can show you. Okay, I can use the cat, the index file, and show you how it looks like. So mainly will be the happy server, and then connect to the MongoDB. Okay, so we are running on the local like 3000, and we will have like also like here the locals, like here's the port connect to the MongoDB. Okay, so remember just using this one. This one one of the framework is called a MongoDB, another one is a Mongoose. So later you will see like some source code I'm using like a MongoDB, Mongoose. Okay, they have different feature, different property you can use. I can recommend you if you know how to use Mongoose, or you can just like directly jump from MongoDB, this framework to Mongoose. So it's like that. Okay, but this one is like for demonstration. So I'm using the MongoDB. And we have mainly, we have like after we have a config connection set up, and there mainly they have two path route, right? So one is the get method, once I post. Get is I want to need to get the value, so I just like find everything and return as array. And then once I post the data and save it. Okay, so right here the when I post the account, actually pretty straightforward. Okay, for the user account later, I maybe just but this one you didn't see. I really set the model. Okay, but later you can see it. Okay, and what you need to do actually several things overlap. You will see you will get pretty busy. The coming part is that you need to show me how to, if you are able to connect to the MongoDB. Okay, so if able to complete that, because I have to make sure you are able to like prepare for your project. Okay, I already open the project, and then already you can see I try to put that in two phases. Okay, so two phases. So first one, you need to make sure let yourself able to connect to, let's say the Happy.js and connect to the Happy.js. And then second part would be um connect with the MongoDB, and then here will be there from the front end, and then you can fetch your data from the Happy.js, and then JS can try to retrieve the data from the MongoDB. So it's a whole connection of it. Okay, just like here's the example showing you, and I would like to see, run it. Okay, and because right here I already installed MongoDB, but I have not yet installed the Happy. So I will like install the Happy.js, and after the installation, I will show you one thing. Okay. Hello, since it's waiting. So here will be our first part. Okay, first part is about our MongoDB database. So just give you some like some brief idea. Okay, and see, is my sharing only? Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay. Okay, I think when I show share it, I think there's some issue. And just like quickly recap a little bit. I think if you didn't see the picture, so didn't see my share screen. So this part, um if you go to MongoDB, and then you can after you follow all the steps, okay, so follow all the steps and install it, and you can use the remember to start it or using the enable to make sure if next time you reboot your server, and it will start automatically. Okay, make sure MongoDB, and we can use the Mongo SH, Mongo shell to control. Okay, so and here's the commands we can use. So if we connect, so you can use the Mongo SH. You can see I can check the status. Okay, and then I use the Mongo SH and Mongo SH, and then I can use the use command and then to switch the database. If you do exit it, if I exit database, so it will switch to that one. If you didn't exit, so the MongoDB will create a new one. So you don't have to worry, say, okay, this one will affect. So depends on you. If you do create a called the CSCI 380, then it's a new one, it will create a new one. So if does exist, then you connect to the existing one. Okay. And we talk about collection, so you can use the db dot create collection, and giving this collection is a name. Okay. So giving this name. So once you say okay, then it's okay, I already able to connect it. And there are some extra things is that I try to create a directory. Okay, let's say for CSCI 380, and I try to giving the aside the user account group. Okay, I talk about data, and then given a correct the permission like 775 is recursive. Even the some subfolder, I have the same permission for all those accounts. And I use the CD, okay, change the directory. And then this time I just showing using ls to list all the files like under here or subfolder. They already like granted the permission, and also aside to those accounts, and mainly for the Nginx or later we need to like serve it globally, then we need to let them like using the www.data this group. Okay, some people you see some example they will assign for user also using www.data dash data. So depends on you, but if you assign this to this one, maybe you need to always using a sudo group. So I did it, and I kept the content right here. So we need to use the happy, okay, and also MongoDB, or you can use the Mongo SE like Mongoose. So Mongoose also can be another MongoDB connection client. Okay, and we define all the connection. You see the CSCI 380 and using connection user account. And this time we I just showing we have only two main methods right here. One is get, and another is the post. Okay, and when you create all file, remember you need to start with npm initialize. Okay, init, and you can like by default, yes, but I already create it, and then you will see I already installed the happy, and then also you can install Mongoose right here. So I can catch you the package.json file. Okay. So under this like package.json file, you'll see I have two dependencies. One is the Happy.js, one is the MongoDB. So that means that okay, at least I'm okay right here, and execute. And you see right now the server is running on the local host 3000. Sometimes I would recommend you always try to connect to your server, local server like this, and then test it. Okay, so it's highly recommended. Let's say right here, if you want to see sometimes I would recommend you can create a route. Okay, so you can create a route, and okay, I can use another test editor right here. Okay, so you're saying okay. So I will doing like for test. Okay, so I will using test and just like return the message right here. So as I will return it, I will say okay, the happy.js server is running like this. Okay, so you can just like put any message right here. Okay, and it would be good like for testing. Okay, and here's a connection. Okay, and I would like to let you like or to try and see. Okay, after install and based on this source code and try to set up connection, because this one will be your coming because no you have one like set up with Happy.js, and then another one will be the MongoDB. So will be kind of like your last, we call the assignment or that, and then in the meanwhile you have to prepare your project. Okay, and here will be this part, and I would like to switch back to our second part. So this one will be about the extra things, because once we already set up our like the all the backend, if you remember we have the fetch, right? But this time I will introduce the access. This one will be the one good like using for fetching the data. So I can introduce this one is called a promise-based HTTP client for JS. Okay, so it can support like the Promise API, and then it also works in the browser Node.js. Okay, so that's why we need to use the npm to install it, and it also supports the request and response interception, and it helps automate the JSON data transformation. So it's pretty useful. It can be like more simple the API than the fetch API. If you remember before we're using the fetch, but this time we can switch to it, and it can have a built-in support for JSON, and then support like some request cancellation and handle the errors. Okay, and also we can configure both some like interceptors. So it's pretty useful. You can use the npm install. Okay, and of course you can save it. Okay, you can save it and just need to import it. And this part is working on the React.js. Okay, remember this one is on the React, not the server side. This one is your front end React. Okay, you can use it. And let's say you have the data. Okay, create the data right here, and then you can just like post it. So you can put the API right here, or you can test with your local host. Okay, so this one, let's say I have the I need to post it or get it. So you can just like get items, test, or like post items, and you can then was like if we save it, maybe I try to do the console log, or you can save it to local. Okay, maybe save it to local variables. And if you have an error, you can catch it and then log it. Okay. And also it can like work with the stage management. Like we can use any hooks to manage the stage in the functional like components. Okay. So you will see right here still using React, right? So familiar. And when we try to create a function right here, we can use the use effect, if you remember, and then using use state and constant right here. So after we save it, we can use set data, save it right here. That's what I say. So we can save it. And then if you want to list the data, and then you can just like return the after you return, so like you have the data .mat is the one function. So they were passing it. Okay. So we say as an item. So all the item right here, and then we give a key is using an item ID, and give an item name. So here's a one of example to generate a list, and then based on the data we fetch from the server. And how about if we have some error? Okay, so we maybe try to like getting if. Okay, so if we try to catch the error response, so okay, if we do, maybe we have a console log and then showing what's the error and then what's the status. And if some other network error, then we can like console it, and then maybe there's no message. Okay. And we talk about the interceptor. So this one is the function. can intercept the request or response before they are handled. So you can like adding the interceptor. So like before we say the request use, okay. So you can doing some config and then return this config, okay. And return the if we have error, so just like reject the we say the promise, reject it and then show the error, okay, like this. So we can just like execute something before the request is sent. Let's say if you want to like double check, make sure validate the content post, okay, then you can do it in this way. Most time maybe you're using like you need to post the data to the server, but you don't want to get some error, or sometimes if you need to make sure your network connection, okay, is valid, you do have network connection, then you can post it. Then of course you can do it in this way too, okay. And so far we just like write up everything. Remember, we need to organize those API calls, okay. So try to maybe like separate API utility files. So maybe we create a new folder, save it, and try to add some handle our error. So centralize those like errors handling for the API, so we can like can we handle the error, try and catch if there's some message. So try to doing this, and also like try to avoid some repeated code. So we maybe like use it to use the interceptor to manage the common header or error handling. So it's also like possible. So we can add it right here before you send. And then also we can keep some UI the response. So maybe using the loading state. So we make the request. Okay. So far quickly in this part, just like introduce another framework we can use, okay, to like handle the HTTP request. Okay. So in React, okay. And it's much very slightly easier, okay, to handle. So it's easy error handle or request management, and it's more suitable for our modern React application. So I will recommend instead of using Fetch, okay. So you can search this too. And so far, pretty quick video and record you are going to do, okay. And I already posted about the project. So last part I like to mention about the project. So you can choose any topic, and I've created groups. Okay, the group under the our communication tools. So depends on your on you. So I'm okay. You say okay, I'm good enough, and you can do it by your own. Or like if you want to join with other people, and then you can just like choose the group and join together. Because we have small number, if you think like 3 or 4, okay, so it's okay. And you can choose your own topic and think about like what kind of I will try to helping to track your progress. So maybe after 1 week later, I will post like assignment kind of bonus. So tell me what kind of website you want to build. Okay, what kind of content. So I don't want to like of you have an overlap or do something duplicate. Okay, and then once you decide what kind of topic you want to do, then you need to start to work on like really prepare. So almost like almost like the last month. Okay, so for your semester. So pretty much I know I understood. So but for this you need to like work on using React to build on the front end. Okay, and then using the Bootstrap or like handle with some UI looks like more fancy, and then create the backend server. And how can we create the interface like right the API call speech API, and then I'm using the Happy.js and connect to the MongoDB. Okay, we're using MySQL. Okay, so I put it as a 2 part. So there's 2 phases. The first one, at least you can run something the front end and connect to the Happy.js. Okay, at least sometime maybe some like components. Here's a just rough structure. So you can finish the first phase. Phase 1 will be work on the front end using React and then connect to the server. Of course, like in the meanwhile, so second part will be your connect with a database, and then you show me you're able to connect to the database, and then all the data at least you can perform the like update, insert, all those. Remember, you need to as a submission. Of course, I remember to zip all those like required file. Not the let's say for the Happy.js or MongoDB. You will see the modules, right? So you don't have to upload that one, but at least all the source code JS file you create, and also the package.json, so I can test it, I can install it. Okay, and the next part for React is the same. You can zip all the whole files and recommend zip all the source code. And of course, if you have a GitHub or you can host it on your online, so you may be you have a free AWS EC2 server and host it. Then also share the website link to me. Okay, so I can look at it. Okay, I can check the website. Okay, of course, screenshot all the setup, everything, and then show me the API later. I will tell you. So all this will be the document. Quickly go through all the project. Okay, so that's it for this class. Thank you.